Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this special Hope Through Hoops evening presentation. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. The ABA staff was talking over the need to do a video presentation a few weeks ago. And over the course of COVID, we had put out a number of videos, always centered around people finding ways to stay active when they couldn't be in the gym, but they could do at home. And so many organizations have done great work in trying to keep people moving forward. And we started thinking, man, I think kids have had enough of dribbling basketballs in their basement. I think they've had enough of throwing basketballs against the wall, going outside in the cold and shooting on an outside hoop. So we realized, let's do something fun. Let's do something that focuses on hope, and let's entertain people. And that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. That's how Hope Through Hoops came about. We have a fantastic lineup of guests. We have Jacob Hendy, the Executive Director for the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta, longtime Senior Women's National Olympic Team regular, Mia Maria Langlois. Ken King comes to us from Calgary. Ken does a ton of work in a variety of areas, and the areas that he's focusing on right now is to build people up mentally and physically. And then we have Shawnee Harley, who is no stranger to anyone in the basketball community in Alberta. And then we're going to turn to a high degree of fun with the amazing Hondo. And Hondo is going to marvel everyone with his magic with a message. And I think you're going to really enjoy what this man has to offer. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And there are a few people here that are special, and I don't know, I'm going to call out one of them right now, and that is my university coach, Coach Les Whitkey, and his wife, Judy, down in Kansas City, Missouri. I believe you're joining us tonight as well. Coach Whitkey coached both myself and the amazing Hondo as we were teammates together at Winona State University. I also want to give a great round of enthusiasm and appreciation to the staff at Alberta Basketball. They've worked extremely hard to put this together, and I'm very grateful for all the work that they've done. Now, for tonight, keep your cameras on, if you would, during the presentations, particularly during Hondo's presentation. You can also use the virtual clap meme down at the bottom of the screen. You'll see some reactions that you're able to tap into. And if you have a question, we don't have the chat room open tonight, but please email it to info@basketballalberta.ca. Again, info@basketballalberta.ca, and we'll get the answer back to you. All right, let's get started here. That's enough of me. We're going to start with our first guest, Jacob Hendy. Jacob, as I mentioned, is the Executive Director of the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta. Jacob, in his bio, talks about how he is a family man. Jacob has 5 children, I believe. Is that right, Jacob? Okay, yeah, 5 kids. And so he walks the walk as well as talking the talk, that's for sure. But the first time I met Jacob, my impression was, wow, this guy has the it factor. He is committed to helping young people. He's committed to helping his community, and he's committed to taking opportunities to a new height. And so I want to give a big round of applause to Jacob Hendy for joining us tonight. Jacob.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. I just want to say thank you, Alberta Basketball, and Paul, sir, and Jeff, and the others that I've met and worked with the last couple of years. You guys are amazing. I emulate your guys' organization and work to get the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta to be running and effective and smooth as you guys. You guys have been amazing to help out our Indigenous individuals, families, and communities. Just a little bit about myself. My dad was a hippie. Mom was a Valley girl. I was born just outside of Los Angeles, California. Grew up in Utah. Lived in a border town of the Ute reservation, Native American reservation down there. Lived in Canada for 2 years in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. Did some service work and really got to love the Canadian people, and came home and I walked on at college. and university football. And I had so many naysayers and people telling me no. And I'm going to share tonight some of the ways that I have hope and inspiration that helped me overcome the naysayers when a lot of them were even my family. I became a top sales manager I was in the industry for 12 years, all over North America. In 2016, I became the CEO for the Edmonton Native Ball Association, which is the Alberta Indigenous Games that runs that. It's the biggest multi-sport Indigenous summer games on a yearly basis in North America. And then in 2019, I became the executive director for the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta, and we share the same building there as Alberta Basketball. And I absolutely love working. It's a dream job for me, working with our Indigenous people of Alberta. It's truly amazing. And so I just want to share what gives me hope and inspiration during these times. When I was in high school, I had a very traumatic experience that shook my foundation of my hope and joy in life. And, you know, my hope and joy at that time was built upon my family and football and basketball and baseball. And that was it. And so my family got torn apart and I was empty. I love basketball. I love football. I love all that, but I just still feel empty. And so for me, I'd always believed in God, but for me, I started exercising, I guess, that and getting to know my creator. And that's one thing I love about working with Indigenous organizations. Almost all of our meetings, we start thanking our creator with a prayer. And at the end, at almost every meeting, it's pretty special. And so for me, that's what gave me that hope. And so I had that foundation of my relationship with God, that no matter what happens, a death of a loved one, school can go wrong, an injury, challenge at work, you know, a death of a friend or family member, a pandemic, it's still going to be challenging. It'll still be tough, but I can still have inner peace and joy. And so for me, number one, I just want to share that. That's a big, big source for me. And the biggest thing, what I did was I couldn't control what happened in my life that's challenging, but I could live my choice every day the best that I could for the future Jake, the future version of myself, and for my future family. I wanted to have a family one day. And so I just focused on the little choices because that makes up a big person of who you are. Goals, a big thing for me is setting goals. Right now, I set goals for myself, for my family. And my family is the next biggest thing. You know, I love my wife, Shake Crowfoot. It was her maiden name. She's from Siksika Nation, just outside of Calgary. I have 5 beautiful children, Talita, Jacob, Kalila, Elijah, and Eliana. We just had a newborn, so we've been really busy with her. And I just love seeing them every day. They give me a lot of hope and inspiration. I have a friend who's a doctor. He once told me he's spent a lot of time with elderly, taking care of them in their dying months in the hospitals. And he said that there's a consensus of overall, the biggest regrets that people share and talk about is they wish they would have had more time with their family. They wish they would have had more time with their family. So big thing for me is I'm a big family man. I love spending time with my family. I cherish the relationships that we have because we never know, you know, and especially for youth out there, you're not going to be with your mom and dad as you get older. Eventually one day you're going to be on your own and you won't be with your siblings every day, even though they annoy you. And I try to teach my kids that. And so we got to learn to do that. A big thing that helps me get through this is being grateful. Every day I try to look and see what I'm grateful for. You know, live in a free country. And every one of you that are watching this, you guys have so many amazing talents and gifts and you're incredibly talented. And I've seen that through Alberta basketball. And you know, what can we do while we're here with those talents? And COVID's kind of allowed us a pause to take inventory and to look at certain things that we can develop that maybe we wouldn't before because we're so busy running around doing everything. I love reading. I love spending time with my family. I love waking up in the middle of the night to feed our daughter and talking with my wife about our children or watching our favorite Netflix show. Have a healthy balance though on the Netflix. I love family history. COVID's allowed me to really look into family history. Our ancestors, all of us on here have ancestors that were amazing, that rooted up. And other than the Indigenous people here, like my wife's family, you were already here. But everyone else moved from an entirely different country, continent, and are here. And they went through some incredible challenges. And so I love learning about my ancestors and who they were and what they did. And there's so many resources right now we can find out about that. One of the things that really helps me out is staying busy with work, just staying busy. And so I know youth out there staying busy with school, your chores around the house, you know, supporting your siblings. but I was in a pipe ceremony once at the Alberta Indigenous Games, and there's an elder, his name's Francis Whiskey Jack. And he shared with me about the medicine wheel teachings. And you can Google up medicine wheel teachings. And what they are is they focus on 4 areas. So if you imagine a pie chart split into 4 of physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. And he says, if you're off balance in one of those areas in your life, it throws off your whole overall well-being. So I've really focused on working hard to do the best that I can physically through working out at home with my family, doing exercises. Can't really go anywhere, but doing things from home. And through our Indigenous Sport Council Alberta, we've done this at-home online fitness challenge. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see our groups and our challenges. It's been very incredible keeping everybody healthy and busy. But a lot of things we can't control right now during COVID. Sometimes visiting our friends or family we can't do, practicing, eating, sometimes getting in a restaurant. But what we can control is our physical health. And when we're physically healthy, that helps us mentally. And that helps us have good mental health. And when that helps us mentally, it helps us emotionally, and it helps us spiritually as well. And so for me, that was a big thing, you know, focusing on what we can control. It can help us out with school and doing our chores and dealing with our siblings, our family members, our teachers, certain things that can be frustrating in life that can really help us out. Basketball, I love basketball. I train my 3 brother-in-laws to play college and university basketball. They're the Crowfoot brothers. And just the little things. It sounds like you guys have already been doing this, plyometrics, jump rope, ball handling, all that. We can only do so much, but this is the good mental part. And I love this activity here tonight. Just encouraging, you know, setting goals is a big thing. Goals for life, not just basketball, but other goals, you know, working on them. COVID's really allowed, I found for our family, time. The biggest thing is time, because we get so busy with all these practices and this and meetings and that, and we've really been able to spend time with each other. Another thing to be careful of, I guess, that helps is social media and being on it too much. That can kind of kill your hope, and to not compare. We should never compare ourselves to anyone else. We are all special. We all have individual journeys. We're all on earth at this time in the history of the world. It's pretty special. And I believe there's a reason for everything. And it's not about the end, but it's about the journey. It's about enjoying it. That's why Tom Brady, I'm a big football fan. I know we're in Canada here. Hockey is a big thing, and this is basketball. Tom Brady loves the journey. That's why a lot of people don't play that long, is because the journey is just too exhausting for him. They're worried about the end result. And if they're not going to win a Super Bowl or this or that, but he loves the journey. And so while we're here during this pandemic, enjoy the journey, enjoy the best that we can, smile, laugh every day, live so that you have no regrets. You know, when we make mistakes, it's okay, because we will. Look at them, you know, look for the positive. As a very successful friend, one of my friends, he's from Israel, who's one of the top managers in North America. He said, we win some or we learn some. He's like, Hendy, we win some or we learn some. That's his phrase. Instead of win some, lose some, we win some or we learn some. So I just recommend everybody take that, some advice, and there we go. Thank you, Paul. Thank you to be here. I'm so excited to hear the other presenters and to see the amazing Hondo magic show. So thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. That was awesome, as I would have expected. Yeah, the only thing, Jacob, is you should be a little more enthusiastic. I think that would have helped a lot. So
okay,
you just didn't quite smile enough. That was wonderful, Jacob. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, this next guest, Mia Maria Langlois. I've had the opportunity, as most of the members of our ABA staff, over the past 8 years, the senior women's national team, the Olympic team for Canada basketball, has made their home in Edmonton. 7 of those years have had this young lady as part of the women's national team. She's played for the team for 7 years, representing our country. She's traveled all over the world. She won numerous championships at Windsor University, where she had a double major. She's currently completing her master's in management, innovation, and entrepreneurship. She's also assisting at the University of Toronto, focusing on player development and community building. She believes in the power of community and perseverance. And if you've ever watched Mia Maria play, you know that's exactly how she plays, with tremendous perseverance. When I heard that she was available and was willing to come on, I couldn't have been more excited. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you Mia Marie Langlois.
Thanks, Paul. So to pronounce my name, it's Maya Marie Langlois.
Okay, I butchered that.
I'll
Sorry.
say that one more time, Maya Marie
Yeah,
Langlois.
okay.
Sorry, no, it's all right. I grew up, people always got my name wrong. So, it's a good practice. So, I want to talk about something that, a lot of players or whoever, whatever sport you do, it doesn't even matter the competition level. But if you play sports, unfortunately, you will get hurt. When you're moving your body that much, there's almost no way around it. So I have been hurt many times. I've gotten 2 surgeries, one on my shoulder, one on my spine. And, I'm still standing and running. However, it's not that I trust the doctors and the physiotherapy around me to get my body back to mind or back to place. But it's kind of what Jake was alluding to earlier in terms of, it's more than just you have to have your body right. There's 4 components to it. So I wanted to talk about, okay, so what's the mental side of, a player trying to return to a sport and going through those mental battles? Because when you think about it, a lot of young kids, young adults and older adults, we all love to play sports, right? And growing up, I've been playing basketball since I was 7 years old, and I haven't stopped since. But the longest time I had to sit out of basketball was when I first got my shoulder surgery, right? So from playing every day from when I was 7 to saying, no, you just got to stay home, sit down and rest and recover. You can't work out. Something that I love was taken away from me. And even though it's temporarily, 9 months seems like forever. You don't see the bigger picture at first. So I just want everyone to understand, first off, everyone gets injured and, you will be hurt mentally and emotionally. So it's really important to understand a couple steps that I took in order for me to get back from my shoulder and spine surgery to, essentially compete at the Olympics and multiple world championships. So, and I've learned over the years of the important things. And I think the first one is to really understand that you're not alone almost, and that you need other people to help you to help you return and to come out on top. So that could be anybody between your mom, it could be your friends, someone just to talk to saying, I really want to go outside and play basketball right now, but I know I shouldn't. And that would actually help avoid a lot of, returning to sport too soon or overtraining when your body's just not there, because emotionally and mentally you want to be on the court because you feel like you're missing out on things, right? So I started to surround myself with a lot of support, but I didn't at first, which really took a toll on me. And it probably took me longer to come back from injury. So, I kept talking to my physiotherapist, just telling her everything I felt. I spoke to my mom. I had one good friend, a basketball teammate who I could confide in during those tough moments. And then it's almost just to have, accept that you will have anger. There will be frustration, and, there will be tears, but try not to suppress them. The most important thing is to get through them so they're not lingering around with you, that fear of, what if I don't come back strong? What if I'm not as good? The moment you're out the court, go through that. It's almost therapy for your body and your mind, because those suppressed feelings will come up, and your injury, rather than lasting 9 months, right, might turn out to last 17 months because you had to heal your body and your mental state. So, and this is something that, it's not just sports related. You will go through hard times, that you're removed from something that you really love. We're all kind of going through it right now with, the sense of freedom. But basketball is definitely a sport that you can practice your everyday life in. So, it's almost like a awareness of how you can transfer your skills life and your life to basketball. Sorry. Okay, so what has helped me keep a positive mindset through COVID? So my little secret is that I started to realize everything's connected, right? So I try to throw myself in, as you can hear from my intro, into a lot of different things, a lot of different activities, learning new things while I was originally preoccupied either from work, from school, or just constantly basketball training. And, I try to follow my interests more, because after basketball, like once you retire, you do have to find another hobby. So it's really good to start thinking about that now, and to like multiple things and not just one thing. You can master basketball, sure, but always keep on developing other skills outside of basketball, because those skills that you develop are always transferable anywhere you go. And at the end of the day, I am so grateful that I got to play basketball, something I love. And it has given me quite the opportunity. I've traveled the world. I've met so many wonderful people. And it allowed me to build skills on and off the court, and off being, responsibility, time management, decision-making, confidence. It's a character building. And as far as, if you can take basketball as far as you can, and you actually love what you do, then, put your whole heart into it. And that's it.
Maya Marie, first of all, I'm sorry. I'm too old to be embarrassed. I heard that and this is a true story. That's how I heard your name pronounced when I first met you, from someone else, obviously not from you. So my apologies. Thank you so much for that message, Maya Marie. Just such a fantastic athlete, such a fantastic presence on the court. And it's just a real pleasure to have her with us tonight. Our next guest, Ken King. Now, unlike the previous guest, Ken, I hope I got your name right. Okay, I handled that one. All right. Ken has over 10 years of experience in university sport and education, as well as private consultation and training. Ken works with Canada Basketball as a coach educator, coached men's and women's basketball at the university and elite club areas. He presently works in the private sector with training teachers, healthcare professionals, and large corporations on how to understand, train their mind and body in order to improve their daily performance, as well as working on the basketball court. So I'm pleased to present to you Ken King.
Well, yeah, Paul, I don't have a lot of people pronounce my name wrong, but I appreciate that. And you did get it right. And I don't know where you got that bio, honestly, because I'm thinking that somebody on my side probably wrote it at some point, but that sounded pretty good the way you read all that out. So I appreciate the kind intro. It's pretty cool for me to talk after Maya, because the last time I saw Maya not wearing a national team jersey was when I was coaching with the Laurentian men, and we were at Windsor, and she was still hooping at Windsor. So she had a few less injuries at that point and was still feeling fresh in those days, but still played hard back then too. So I appreciate the opportunity to follow you, Maya. And I have a little bit of a visual, because unlike the people that went before me, I can't remember what I'm going to say unless I have some cues in front of me. So they're a little bit more talented than I am, but I need a little bit of a cue so that I remember what's going on here. So a little bit about what I'm doing now. As Paul mentioned, I've coached a lot of coaches in some different areas, and I love coaching. I've been able to coach over this past year, and that's been hard, just like it's not easy for many of you to be able to play. Many of you are coaches not being able to coach. And we've built our company, and actually speaking about Maya, I feel like what she's doing her master's in, I might be looking at having her come on board sometime here soon, because that stuff sounded pretty nice. But we've built our company to be somebody who's pursuing the leading edge of culture analytics, or measuring culture in groups. And we're just piloting a software now with some of the forward-thinking teams here in this country. The UBCO men's and women's team are actually piloting our Flow software, which measures basketball IQ and cultural fit within a team. So it connects individually to the values of that program, and the systems that they run, and can track how well somebody fits, whether it's a recruit or a current player, into the vision for that program. So that's one of the projects that we're working on. It's all data-based. We collect a lot of data, and we use some third-party companies to give us data as well. And that's where a lot of our habit work that I'm going to talk about today comes from. So when we talk about building habits, very often it's presented as something that's extremely challenging, just because it's not really something that you can just change overnight. And many times we give up on those habits. And while I understand that, it's kind of a habit to build habits, there's actually some basic steps that can go into building them that can help us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a few of those here. So I'm not going to start with step 3. I got a little impatient and clicked a bunch. I'll start with step 1. So step 1, one of the key things that we're finding through a lot of our data is that we need to do a better job of building awareness. And awareness is relative. And I think both people who went before me talked a little bit about control, or what's within and what's outside of your control. So when I talk about awareness, what I'm really talking about here, this is why usually I have somebody do the buttons for me. What I'm really talking about here is understanding what is within and what is outside of your control. And this is a skill. This is something you have to practice. And this is a great time to practice it, because there's so many things in the world right now that are outside of our control. So some of you might have gotten decent at this just by default. You had to get good at figuring out what's in and outside your control. And identifying what is most important to you comes from that. In addition, when we're talking about building awareness, we really want to talk about a little bit of journaling. Now, I'm not a big journaler. I'm not able to just get all my thoughts down in a book the old-fashioned way, and I'm not really that good at staying consistent with it. But one thing that I took from a friend of mine, his name is Matthew Dix. He's an author. He's a professional storyteller. He's actually on the advisory board for our company as well, so he's become a friend of mine. But he shared with me something he calls homework for life. And we've adapted that a little bit to build it into something that tracks learning about what is in and outside of control in your life. So it's actually pretty simple. Every day, you just at the end of the day reflect by putting into a spreadsheet some of the events of that day, and then think about each moment individually, and beside it, just put a little C or a little U for whether that was outside of your control, for a U, uncontrollable, or C for inside of your control. It was something that you could do something about at that time. What you'll find is many of the things that you had a high emotional reaction to were probably actually outside of your control, and you probably put some effort into those things that you didn't need to, that you should have put a little bit more into your controllables. And so when we start looking back through and identifying what is in and outside our control, we really start to feel the ability to feel a little bit more gratitude, which was spoken about already, but also a little bit more calm about what we can actually do with our lives at any given time. Step 2 to starting to build elite habits during this time or any other are to start to do the same thing, but with your habits. So listing some of the habits you have: wake up, shut off the alarm, brush teeth, hopefully at some point, eat breakfast. You should, it's a super important meal. Move a little bit, so there's a little bit of exercise. What do you do in the morning? Do you sit down and have a little bit of time to just be quiet before you start your day, or you're always rushing off and sleeping in? Listing your current habits is really important, and being aware of them as well. Then identify the habits that are effective or ineffective. So many people refer to habits as being positive or helping them, or negative and hurting them. But habits aren't really positive and negative. They're more effective habits that better your life, that better you and better those around you, or ineffective habits that don't better your life and they don't better you and those around you. So starting to identify those in a similar way that we identify what's inside and outside our control. Then just committing to some small changes in some of the ineffective habits, not really big ones, but just small ones. So if you want to exercise more, wake up tomorrow and do 5 push-ups. Try to do that for a week. That's those little baby step changes to building effective habits that make a big difference, and the greats are really good at. So some data to back this up that I think is really important for many of the people on here. More than 80% of the post-secondary athletes, so these are in North America, the US and Canada, in our data, said that their daily habits are actually things that are intentful. So they're really paying attention to them, and they're doing them to get better or to make themselves more effective. What this says is that when we don't pay attention to our habits, we really limit ourselves and our potential to grow and get better. Step 3 now is starting to see the difference between waiting, taking, and making. And there's a couple negatives here. So waiting is when you're just kind of sitting there waiting to get taller, which many of us have done in our lives, where we just really want to be taller as a basketball player. So we're waiting for something to change. We also have many moments in our lives where we go out and we take some attempts. And it's important to start, it's important to try, but we're really focusing on taking. A little bit better than this is the idea of making. So many coaches will tell you, and I've told some of my athletes this, instead of going out and taking 100 shots, go out and make 100 shots. It's a little more effective. But really what I want to talk about today is the idea of making your own luck and becoming a maker. And if you want to become a maker, whether it's shots, whether it's being more active or physical activity, whether it's having a little bit more control over your emotions, whether it's anxiety, stress, that kind of thing, making your own luck comes from much of what I've talked about already. Identifying what you can control and identifying habits you want to build with intent. As I said before, people who've made it to the post-secondary sport level are people who do habits with intent to make their lives more effective and the lives of those around them more effective. And next is to make those steps that you're taking towards those habits controllable. So those controllable small steps make a huge difference in getting where you want to go. And then lastly here, just before I wrap up, I'm just going to touch on the fact that consistency is key. If we're consistent at anything, small or large, the odds of it becoming elite for us are much higher. It doesn't mean big steps, it just means consistent steps. So again, if I want to be more active, I can start by doing 5 push-ups every day for a week and see where that gets me. Am I more active? Totally. Is it within my control? 100%. Am I aware of what I'm doing with a purpose? Yes, I am. And every one of those push-ups counts towards me being a little bit more active, and it's really important. And the last thing I want to leave you on today, because we see this a ton during COVID from post-secondary athletes, some of the pro athletes that we've surveyed, and some of the high school and a little bit younger athletes that I've worked with, is that if your goals and your habits are yours, it's way easier to accomplish them. It's not to say that people, on whether it's a coach or a parent or a friend who are giving you suggestions, are wrong, but if you can find a way to frame habits and goals in a way that make them your own, it makes it so much easier to make it something that you feel in control of, that you can consistently commit to, and something that you can take baby steps at every way. So find habits, find goals that you're passionate about, and those things will lead you to that mountaintop of accomplishing and building a new effective habit that can help change your life.
Ken, thank you very much. That was awesome. Lots of good advice in there. Now, Ken, I want to get this straight though. If I understand you correctly, waiting, taking, and making. Does that mean it was okay for my teammates to always be waiting because I was taking most of the shots but not making quite enough? I wonder what that, if that was exactly what your motivation was. I think we need to realign those priorities, don't we?
I think you should ask Hondo how he feels about that, probably.
We played together a lot, and I don't think I'm far off. Next guest is no stranger to so many people across Canada. And I have Shawnee Harley's Winning Matters biography here, but I'm only going to read you the first paragraph because I think this sets the table pretty well. Shawnee is a 2-time Olympian as an assistant coach for the Canadian women's team and is the most highly certified coach in Canada. I'm going to read that sentence again. Shawnee is the most highly certified coach in the nation of Canada. She has 26 years of elite coaching and leadership experience, including the Olympic Games, World Championships, FIBA Americas, and the World University Games. Other than that, Shawnee doesn't do much with her time, so she is just outstanding. We had the privilege of working with Shawnee for several years with the Alberta Basketball Association and coaching development. She has touched countless athletes' lives, families' lives. She works really comfortably in the corporate and business sectors, and we're just so pleased on Hope Through Hoops to have Shawnee Harley. Shawnee.
Well, let's see if I can figure out how to share my screen as step one. But it says host has disabled participant screen sharing. So if someone can let me in, that would be truly wonderful. In the meantime, you just have to sit here and look at me. Try it again, still not quite there. I think people are working on it in the background though. That's my feeling. How are we doing, people? Oh, it says I'm sharing my screen already? Really? What you got, Paul?
I see a lot of very lovely faces right now, but I do not see your screen, Johnny.
Okay, somebody worked their magic.
There we
in
go.
The background. Thank you, whoever that magician. We have more than one magician on the show tonight. Hey, my name's Shawnee and my business is Winning Matters. And here's what's cool about winning tonight. We're gonna win with hope. What a great game to be playing, the game of hope. Here's what I believe about hope. I believe it is a choice. Think about that for a moment, people. Hope is a choice. We can choose to be hopeful. That means we can go towards the lightning, and we can choose to be unhopeful. And you're going to say, oh, come on. It's not that easy, is it? Well, it's simple, but what I've learned is most things in life that are simple, they are definitely not easy. So I'm going to give you some ideas about how to make it easier. I want to begin with thinking about our thoughts. I just find this absolutely fascinating. Do you know that we have up to 60,000 thoughts a day? 60,000! 60,000. It's so many. Did you know 80% are negative? And 95% are repetitive. So we continue to think about the same negative things over and over and over. Well, if we have 60,000 thoughts, what are you doing with them? Are you choosing hopeful thoughts? Or are you settling for unhopeful thoughts because we're in COVID right now? There can't be that much hope out there. Well, I tell you what, I work with hundreds of athletes, and I'm really tired of the groupthink. And the groupthink, this is what I hear athletes saying. I'm only going to give you 3 little bullet points because I only have a short time. I'm losing my fitness. I'm so sick and tired of team Zoom calls. Here's a good one. If I have to go down to the basement one more time and practice my dribbling drills, and I hear this group think about how bad it is, how terrible it is, how unfair it is. Well, what about leading the way? What about jumping out of that goldfish bowl? What about thinking, you know what, there's lots of ways that I can stay fit. I might not like them, but I do need to be creative. I do need to be disciplined. Heck yeah, you need to be disciplined. Self-discipline is one of the foundations of mental toughness. For Zoom, you could say, you know what, I don't like it. I'm really sick of looking at my teammates, but it's the best way to connect. For now. For now means this is temporary. And mental toughness says anything that's temporary, we can manage it. because we know it will come to an end. If you don't think those dribbling drills are going to pay off in the basement, you're wrong. Anytime you're investing in yourself, in your game, there is always a payoff. So choose hope. Take that no hope sign out of there. How do you choose hope? You choose your thoughts. You have 60,000 of them. Why don't you have some say over that? Choose them. Choose as many of them as you can. How do you do that? I'm going to give you an acronym. The acronym is WAIT, and it stands for What Am I Thinking? Here's what I love about that acronym. WAIT means wait, pause, stop, chill, take a deep breath. Think about what you're thinking about, because you're having 60,000 thoughts. What would happen if you actually started thinking about what you're thinking about? And then what's next? I have a simple formula, 2 steps, people. You can remember 2 steps. Here's the first one. Wait, I just told you what it is. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? And notice, are you having a no hope thought? A negative Nelly thought? Oh, do I have to go down to the basement again? I'm so sick and tired of Zoom calls. When you notice that, here's the most important part of the formula. Choose. What a gift to be able to choose. You can choose a hopeful thought. There's a million hopeful thoughts out there just waiting for you to grab onto them. You're going to have 60,000 thoughts a day. Why not choose hopeful ones? So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is this challenge. Set a daily reminder. It could be once a day. It could be 3 times a day. It could be once an hour. It's totally your call. When that reminder goes off, stop, wait, and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Think about what you're thinking about, because you're having 60,000 thoughts. Pay attention to them. Are you having a no hope thought? Step 2, choose. There I am in this no hope thought. What else can I do? What else can I think about? I can choose a hopeful thought. That is your mission if you choose to accept it. That starts first thing tomorrow morning. And if you're really keen, it starts tonight.
And let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're listening. Tell me who you are, where you are.
I can hear some background noise, but I get to choose my thoughts about that, don't I? I can say this is hopeless, or I can say, you know what? Let's just carry on. I'm going to choose hope. I want you to consider this saying, be, do, have. What does that mean? It means be willing to do what it takes to have what you want. So my question for you, what do you want? Do you want hope? Or do you want no hope? You have the power. Choose hope. I'm done, Paul.
Thank you very much, Shawnee. You know, I've been excited about this evening, but geez, I've got to introduce one more. I'm so sick of introducing talented guests. But I guess I have to find hope and somehow pull myself together to do it. Right, Shawnee?
Choose hope, Paul.
Our next guest, our entertainment for the evening. Not that our first 4 speakers haven't been wonderfully entertaining, is the amazing Hondo. And I have to tell you something. I was at the amazing Hondo's first magic show, and he's come a long, long way. Such a long way. I just want to share just a few of the clients that he has entertained: Best Buy, Delta Airlines, Mayo Clinic, Microsoft, the Phoenix Suns, the Chicago Bulls, the Minnesota Timberwolves, PGA Western Open, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game Gala, the 87 and 91 World Series. And he gave a number of personal magic lessons to a guy who could do a little boxing by the name of Muhammad Ali. Hondo, the amazing Hondo, started out as a teacher after his college career playing college baseball and basketball, and he was using magic in his classroom to help his math students be more engaged, and eventually figured out through some serendipitous experience, I think is a good way to put it, that this is something that could be a career. And here he is many decades later. My good friend, it's such a pleasure to have him here. I'd like to introduce to you the one, the only, the amazing Hondo.
Hey, thank you, Paul. Nice to be with you all. I'm coming to you from a secret location in St. Paul, Minnesota, from my home to yours. This little secret location happens to be an upstairs bedroom. That's COVID for you. We're going to have a little fun tonight. We're going to do some magic. I'm going to share a few Hondoisms with a few stories from my life as it relates perhaps to yours. And I'm going to involve some audience members in the performance, some coaches and their players. So I'm with the help perhaps of ABA folks who are hosting the show, we might help to unmute some of you who I request to be part of the show. So let's start off with one of the principles of magic. It isn't what you see, it's what you don't see that makes all the difference. Now, this is true in any successful form of life, whether you're a musician or an artist or a lawyer or a school teacher. The things that you do that nobody sees makes what they do see all the more amazing. For example, check this out. Now, this is a pom-pom stick, and I like to start my performances with something that isn't too mentally challenging. I have a feeling you already know how this one works, because I'm a mind reader too. Now, pardon me, my camera is doing weird things. Okay, it's back. So anybody know what's going on here? Yes, I can tell. You know there's a string passing through the tube. But what you don't see is that this ball is actually connected to this one over here. We thought it was this one connected over here. Now, this is what fascinates me, because I was a high school student who majored in college. I majored in math. That was my favorite subject. And I always liked figuring things out. That's what got me into magic. It's kind of what got me into basketball, because I wanted to figure out how to make the teams. Now, COVID. It's how are we going to lift our blues? Well, you got to stay positive, hope, focus on the sunshine in your life, and the blues will lift away. So we've got this one over here. We've got this one over here. We've got this one over here. This is the part that puzzles me. This part right here. This is the part that gets me. So I went into Eagle Magic Store in Minneapolis, and I bought this, and I said to the fellow Larry behind the counter, I said, how does that trick work? He says, like I say, magic relies not on what you see, but what you don't see. The secret lies inside the tube, just like the secret to a good person lies inside the heart, and the secret to a good team lies on the inside. And you are the teammates up in Alberta, whose magic we are celebrating tonight, along with a bunch of my friends in the Twin Cities and around the country, who thankfully were allowed to be invited in. But the secret to the magic and the secret to being good at basketball, attention to the fundamentals, the details, do everything you can behind the scenes. The things that nobody sees makes what they do see amazing. And what you don't see here is that this trick here relies on no strings attached whatsoever. So if I go like this, you see, there's nothing there, nothing there. I apologize. My camera is doing some strange things. So I may have to switch cameras here. But check this out. If I go like this one will go right back in. This is how I get ready for the next show. And this one will go right back in. If I can ever figure this out, I'll explain it to you. But until then, stay well connected to all your coaches and your teammates and your friends in Alberta. Thank you. You can clap. I see a lot of you out there didn't put your photos on there. I feel like I should try that. Now, second thing I'd like to get into here is that we all hear about hope through COVID, and I think it's all about perspective. It's how you look at things. For example, a lot of times, this is a simple thing I used to do for students in the classroom. You think you see one dot because that's what you see. You think you see four dots because that's what you see. But you see, the mind doesn't know what it sees sometimes. I can call that 3, and you might assume there's one under there. And I can call that 6. You might assume there's one under there, when in fact there's really only 1, and there's really only 4. Actually, everything I've said so far is a lie. There isn't 3, there isn't 6, there isn't 1, and there isn't 4. You know why? Because how you look at things isn't necessarily how they are. So when I start this way, I'm hiding 1 and I call it 1. When I go this way, I'm hiding 1, I call it 4. It flips the card upside down. I cover the blank spot. I call it 3. The mind fills the gap and thinks there's 3. This side, I cover that. I call it 6. The mind fills the gap. So you see how easy it is for people to get duped in life? And this is the principle on which all of advertising works. Now, if I show you how to do it, 1 there, you got that one. You go this way, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way. Now, this is a great trick unless someone were to say to you, Hondo, move your hand. Then you'd be in trouble unless you believe in magic. And I believe that if you can imagine it, and if you can dream it, and if you can visualize it, you can have it. So when I see that happen, I'm going to pause just like that does, so you don't miss anything. I seriously don't know what's going on. This never happened before. Okay, so when I get over here, snap, snap, boom, you got 6. So I know it's confusing. You see 6 on this side, 3 on this side, and when I turn it over one more time, I think we can proceed with the show because you're all seeing spots up in Canada. Thank you. Paul, can you come on for a second?
At your beck and call, Hondo.
Is this too bad? Should I do something about this, or should we just continue on?
I would just continue on, John.
Oh, okay, because I'm not sure I can solve it anyway right now. All right. So moving right along.
Hondo, would you like people to flip their cameras on?
Well, I would. I'd like to see the people who are out there, unless they're that shy. But
if everybody would just flip their cameras on, please, that would be great. Thank you.
Because then I'll be able to pick on somebody to be my helper. And if I select you, kindly unmute yourself so that we can hear you. And this is a good looking group out here. You look a lot better than these black pictures. So I'm going to go through here and see who I might want to select for this. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try a little magical experiment because that's my background. And this is going to be a total team trick where everybody participates. Now, I do have a second camera, which is up close here. So I'm going to turn this one on and show you something. What I have here is a deck of playing cards. Magicians are quite familiar with playing cards. And I'm going to ask someone in the audience to choose one of these. Let's go with, how about, okay. Let's go on the second page over here. And boy, there's still a lot of them with the lights up. Let me ask a coach to pick one of their players. One of the coaches, volunteer one of your players for me. Any coaches out there? All right, I better just pick somebody. Let's go with, how about Selina? Are you there? Can you unmute yourself? I see your iPad. Can you hear me?
Hi.
You got me, Selina?
Yeah.
Where are you right now? Where are you located?
My name is pronounced Selena.
Oh, my bad, Selena. Mine's pronounced Hondo. So,
And I'm in
Selena, where
Edmonton.
are you in Edmonton?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Selena?
Yeah.
So what grade are you in?
Grade 3.
So how old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
No kidding. You're 8? I'll let you in on a secret. When I was your age, I was 9. Skipped a year. All right, Selena, I'm going to switch cameras and I'm going to have you pick a card out of this deck. I'll pick a card at random. Now you can pick any card. Do you know the difference between one card and another one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll just go through here till you say stop anytime.
Stop.
All right, you stop me on these two. Do you want number 1 or number 2?
Number 1.
This one. All right, great. I'm going to take this card out and I'm going to place it on a clip right on my shirt. All right, someone's got a mic on that's talking in the background. If you could mute that, that'd be awesome. All right, now this is a total team trick, but Selena, you're going to be the point person, but I want everybody else to do this too. Ready? Think of a number from 1 to 10. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, double it. You got it?
Yeah.
Add 10.
Okay.
You got it?
Mhm.
You got it?
Yeah.
Divide by 2.
Okay.
You got it? Subtract the number you first started with. The old folks out there already forgot it.
Yeah.
Okay, you got your answer?
Mhm.
All right, now check this out. I'm going to put both hands behind my back. Pick a hand.
This one.
You say this one, what do you mean?
Like
Am
you're
I right? This
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Is your answer 5?
No.
No? What was your answer?
4.
4. I had that on the other hand. It must be the internet. Curious. By a show of hands, did anybody else get 5 for an answer? Oh, see, Selena, you're outbid out there because Selena, you did succeed, however, Selena. Check this out.
Whoa.
Yeah, you picked a 5, so congratulations on getting the right card anyway. We don't get them all. You have a math teacher, Selena?
No, I just have one teacher for all the subjects except for music.
Oh, I see. Well, then you have a good excuse. Okay, now let's try one more for the whole group to participate in. This is a time travel mathematical trick. And I have with me this, and I would like everybody right now to think of a number from 1 to 10. This one's a little harder than the last one, so Selena, you're excused on this one, but I'm going to challenge the rest of you. Think of a number from 1 to 10. Have you got it? Multiply by 9. If that's difficult, start over with a smaller number. Oops, wrong camera, my bad. So this is what happens when you run your show all by yourself. So you think of a number from 1 to 10, you multiply it by 9. Whatever your answer is, if it's a 2-digit number, add the 2 digits together and you'll get a new number. Whatever the new number is, subtract 5. And after you subtract 5, you get another number. Whatever that number is, count that many letters into the alphabet. And so on. So whatever your number is, let that correspond to a letter. My number is 4, so that corresponds to D. So I'm going to think of a country somewhere. Let's see. I want you to think of a number, a country somewhere starting with the letter D, if you could. And so let's see. Mine might be, yeah, this is a tough one. Djibouti, Djibouti. Now, take whatever your country is, take the last letter of the country and let that be the first letter of an animal. Does anybody know an animal that starts with the letter I? Oh, I do. Iguana. So this is choice. Remember, Shauna was talking about hope is a choice. So I am giving you 3 choices here. So I've got this, I've got this. Then once you have your animal, take the last letter, which in my case is an A, and we're going to let that be the first letter of a color. So I have to come up with a color starting with A, amber. I got it, amber. So I have an amber iguana in Djibouti. Djibouti starts with a D, sounds like a J. Djibouti is a country in Africa. I went to college at Winona State. Some of my former teammates are on board. They recall a song back from the 70s called Shake Djibouti. That's for Percy. So we've got Djibouti, we got iguana, we got amber. By a show of hands, how many have all 3? A country, an animal, and a color. A country, an animal, and a color. Most of you do. Some of you got stuck. Some of you got stuck. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm sensing out there? Did anybody get an orange kangaroo in Denmark? Yeah, man.
Yes.
All right. Anybody get something else? Anybody get a different country? I'm just curious.
Truly amazing.
Truly amazing. Thank you. Is that Doug Mel? Is that? All right. Well, you can unmute if you have something to say. Oh, we'll leave that go down there. So today is a special day, and I'm going to share a couple of my thoughts on basketball and life, but I got one more thing I want to do for you right now, and that is involve some of the people in the audience. So if we can get, I'm going to make a prediction, but before I make the prediction, I'd like to ask 3 of the coaches on the call to either help me themselves or get one of their players to help. Okay, let's get some action from the students. So Coach Mark Dezenik, are you out there, Coach Mark? And Coach Lee Henderson from out west, and Coach Jamie Wahlberger. If you 3 could volunteer one of your players to be my assistants for this trick, that'd be awesome. Okay. And then they'll need to unmute.
Yeah.
Hi.
Cool. All right. Can we spotlight them so that they can share the screen? Jeff?
How do you spotlight?
So we've got, okay, we got Lee, we got Olympia 776. Can we get one more? And Lee Henderson.
Yeah, we got Lee there. Who was the third one?
Oh, the third coach, Lee Henderson, Mark Dezenik, and Jamie Wahlberger. Are they all coaches?
Yeah.
I'm not a coach.
Who's not a coach?
Jamie.
All right, Jamie, you can help anyway.
Well, this is Kate. She'd be happy to help.
What's her name?
Kate.
Kate, how old are you?
9.
You're 9. Is that true?
Yeah.
And your name is your name is Kate?
Yeah.
And you're 9 years old?
Yeah.
You know how old I was when I was your age?
10.
How old was he when he was your age?
9.
What are you? Are you a ventriloquist? I never saw your lips move, and I heard 10. All right, let's try it. I'm going to start with Kate. Kate, Kate, we're going to take these numbers that add up to 20. Well, I got to write a prediction first on this side. Prediction.
Okay.
Prediction.
What?
Sometimes
Can you see?
I just know what you're going to do. So, Kate, give me one of these numbers, and I'm going to write it right here. 7, 5, or 9. Which one do you like? Are these hard? Here, tell you what I'll do. I'll make it easier.
5.
Is it easier to see on this camera? You like 5?
Yeah.
All right, I'll put a 5 there, and I'll cross that out. All right, you're still up, Kate. A 1, a 3, or an 8 goes there.
1.
All right, get rid of the 1. That goes right there. You're still up. 9, 4, 8 goes there.
4.
You got it. 4 goes right there. 2, 6, 3 goes next.
6.
You got it. All right, good job. Okay, we're gonna do it again. This time we'll go with Olympia. What's your name? Olympia 776.
My name is
What's your name?
Marina, but Marina.
Say your name again.
Marina, Marina. Yeah, okay.
Marina. Marina. Okay, Marina.
Yeah.
7 or 9?
9,
You got it. 3 or 8?
3,
9 or 8?
8,
2 or 3?
2,
6 could be over there a little more. Sorry. Got to line things up. Okay. Thank you. We got. You did which one did you do down here? 2?
2, yeah.
Okay. Next we have, what's your name? Lee?
Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. Jordan, do you like the 7?
Sure.
That's what you're getting.
Okay.
You like the 8? All right, good.
Yep.
I know you do. I think you like the 9, but Jordan, you get another job. You get another job. Your job is to add the 3 over there. 6, 2, and 3.
11.
You got it. Carry a 1. Okay, I'll give you one more, Jordan. 4, 1, 8, and 9.
22, I think.
You are correct, I think. You want to keep going? You're on a roll, or should we go back to Kate?
14.
No, Kate's waving her head no. We'll stick with Jordan. Go right here.
14.
You got it. 5 and 1 is 6. 9 is 15, and 7 is
22, I think.
I think you're right. So
Okay.
2, 2, 2, 4, 2, 1. Can you remember that? 2, 2, 4, 2, 1. Of all those choices, there could have been a lot of possibilities. A lot of possibilities. 2, 2, 4, 2, 1. 2, 2, 4, 2, 1. 2, 2, 4, 2, 1. And do you know what's pretty cool about that? Today's the only day I could do this trick. You know why? Today is February 24th, 2021. So this is a trick that could only work today. So I'm so thankful that you guys made the right choices. How about a hand for all my assistants? Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So let me tell you a little story here. I got a few Hondoisms here I want to go into, and then we'll get on with the show. Some great stuff at the beginning of the show. I've been playing basketball my whole life. I started out like probably as a little 5-year-old, 6-year-old at St. Mark's grade school in St. Paul, Minnesota. I was what you call a gym rat. When I was growing up, it was different from today. Today, parents are very much aware and concerned of where their kids are. When I was growing up, my parents said, get lost. Most of my buddies, their parents said, get lost, come back for dinner. So we'd go to the gym, or if it was baseball season, we'd go play out into the fields. So I learned at an early age that if I wanted to make the team, and I often didn't because I wasn't good enough, I had to do one thing that I would encourage all of you to do if you want to be a good player. Number one, be responsible. Be responsible for your own improvement. You're the only one that can be responsible for your own improvement. So let me tell you my story. I went out for the B squad at my high school, the sophomore team, thought I was good enough to make it, and I got cut. And I was just torn apart. I went home, told my mom, told my dad. My dad says, well, you know, it's up to the coach. That's all he'd ever say. See, I had parents that never interfered with the teachers or the coaches. Now everybody's parents know more than the coaches. I'm saying that only to show support for all the coaches out there when the parents tell you how you're supposed to coach. So my dad used to say, hey, you aren't going to like every one of your teachers and you're not going to like every one of your coaches, but that's life. You got to get along. I said, yeah, but I want to be on the team. He said, well, you got to get better. Okay. So I went to my old grade school and I kept practicing there. I found a gym. Be responsible for home improvement. How do you do that? You work on the fundamentals. Now you'll notice I broke that word into 3 parts. You know why? The most important word in that is the top word, F-U-N. If it's fun, it's not work, no matter how hard it is. You love it, okay? Second most important part of the word is the bottom one, mentals. Is your mind in what you're doing? If your mind is in it, your body will respond. So you need to have a good mind. And this is true in any field, in any endeavor. Have fun at it and put your mind to it. And if you're not having fun at it, find something else to do. I think one of the persons on this call is my old youth baseball coach, Billy Peterson. I was fortunate enough to be a teammate of Hall of Famer Dave Winfield and I. He was the shortstop. I was the third baseman. Billy P was our coach, and he taught the fundamentals, and he really had fun with us. And practices were so hard. We came home, our uniforms were so dirty, and my mother would say, what did you do today? I said, well, we practiced our head first slides. And our coach would always demonstrate before we had to do it. So I remember I was going to be a Major League Baseball player, but the problem was I wasn't good enough. So Dave Winfield was. But I had good hands. I played the hot corner. So Billy P is on this call, and he's the first coach that ever showed confidence in me. So coaches, show confidence in your kids, because not all kids get it at home. I didn't get it at home. And I really didn't get it in school, in high school. In fact, sometimes in high school, you know, people aren't always that nice. And so if you can find one teacher, one coach that really believes in you, you are lucky. And so coaches and teachers, remember that. So fundamental, that's my first one. Let me see if I can give you one more here. Oh, by the way, you know who else got cut from his sophomore basketball team? Anybody know? Paul probably does. His initials are MJ. That's the only thing I got in common with Michael Jordan. Number one, be responsible for your own improvement. Number 2, be a team player. What does that mean? It means to accept your role, because coaches their job is to put the puzzle together. You're one of the pieces. It's not your job to tell the coach what part you should fill in. That's their job. Now, sometimes they get it right and sometimes they don't. I coached when I was teaching math at my old high school down the road 4 blocks. I coached the B squad. And I remember I was one of those guys that sat on the bench a lot. And so I became a coach because I thought like a coach. My college coach is on this call, Coach Les Whitkey. Thank you for letting me be your assistant, my 5th year senior. He taught me one thing that's humorous now, but it wasn't then. I wasn't a know-it-all. I think I know it now, and I would want to share it. So the game's on, and I'm sitting next to Coach Whitkey, and things are happening out there. Paul Sir's in the game, and I'm watching, and I go, Coach, I think we can, whatever it was. No reply. Okay, about a minute later, I'm thinking, wait, you didn't hear me. Coach, no reply. This goes back to know your role. And so there's a timeout. We come out of the timeout, after meeting with the team, and we're going back to the bench, and I tell him one more time, because I figured he must not have heard me. So whatever it was, I don't remember. But whoa, and he looks at me and says, let's get one thing straight. I had to wait for that. Assistant coaches make suggestions. Head coaches make decisions. So I learned that. Team. I heard an acronym earlier from Shawnee. I have an acronym for team. You may have heard it before. Together, everyone achieves more. So the key thing about being a team player is it doesn't matter who scores the points. None of the statistics matter if you're a team player. You want to do your best as a team. If you win, great. If you don't and you did your best, that's all you can do. So Coach Whitkey, thanks for telling me that, by the way. I got to tell you, though, when I became a sophomore coach over at Cretin, now Cretin-Derham Hall, I remember at the first practice, I got all my kids together and I said to them, I am going to be a very demanding coach, just like my baseball coach, Billy Peterson, was. I said, I'm going to be very demanding and very critical of you, but I'm not being critical of you as a human being. I love you and I want you to be the best you can possibly be. My job is to have you become as good as you can be and to put a team together that can be as good as it can be. That's every coach's job. So players understand that. You need to know that. The best thing you can do for your coaches is to get better. And then you have to also understand your role. And the third thing is you have to start to learn how to think like a coach. You know why? You're on the floor. You're closer to the action. I remember I was coaching and during a timeout, the kids came over and I looked at them for about 10 seconds. I just stared at them. And the kids were kind of like, you're sophomores. Are you going to tell us something? I said, I got nothing for you. I said, but maybe you got something for me. You're out there. You're closer than I. I gave the clipboard to Peter Olson. And I said, Peter, draw up a play. You got 30 seconds. He draws up a backdoor cut play with Steve Walsh, who later became a quarterback for Miami Hurricanes and I think won a national championship in '87. They did the backdoor play. Steve Walsh got a layup out of it and bingo. I sat back on my bench that day and that was one of the cooler feelings of saying, okay, what is your job as a coach? Your job is to get the kids to think more like coaches and play that way. So I'm going to get to a couple other things a little bit later. Let's get back to some magic because I feel like I'm preaching. And I hope you sensed in what I just said, my passion for being a performer, whether it's doing magic or hitting a baseball or shooting a basketball. We are all performers. We are all magicians. Magicians are people who do amazing things with their craft. And so I wish you all the best at that. I want to ask you about what hard work. Hard work is investment, right? Investment. With COVID, my whole business has been shattered for the past year. My last professional booking was a year ago right now. Last national booking was a year ago right this week in Los Angeles for a World Rugby tournament of all things. And I flew home. I certainly apologize. This camera thing bothers me too, but I'll work through it. I flew home on March 2nd. That was the last flight I took. My next one is going to be this coming Monday to Arizona to see some warmth. But back to investment. I started paying attention to the stock market and watching the Financial Channel because I had nothing better to do. And I remembered something I learned in high school math, the difference between investing arithmetically and geometrically. Now, an example of arithmetic, so this goes into your own effort, performance. Think about money. If you have a piggy bank and you put a penny in on January 1st, and then add a penny, put in 2 the next day, and put in 3 the next day. Of course, the last day of the month, 31 days, you'll put in 31 pennies. And at the end of the month, you'll have $5.44. Now, consider this. Day 1, you put in a penny. Day 2, you put in 2 pennies. Not because you added 1, but because you multiplied by 2. So So what do we put in on day 3 if we're multiplying by 2? We put in, I got to go gallery view so I can see you guys. We go, put up show by a show of hands. I love it. Houston, 4. You are correct. What will we put in on day 3? Show me by S, 8. Very good. 8. And then 16, and then 32, and then 64, and then 28, 128. Are you guys ready for this? This blows my mind. On January 31st, if you put a penny and then 2 cents, then 4 cents, double it every day, just do it for 1 month. Are you ready for this? I'm going to show you over here. You're going to have 21.5 million, pardon me, over $21 billion just for 1 month. Okay, let's try something amazing. Choices. Investment. That's why I talked about investment. That leads into my next thing. Everything in life is risk reward. So driving your car, that's a risk. I sure hope Tiger Woods gets better. That's so sad what happened. But now we're going to do a choice thing. And for this trick, I'm going to use 3 of the coaches out there. 3 of the coaches. And I'm going to go with, it's called, where did I write the coaches' names down? Oh, here we go. So I'd like to go with Coach, I think you're coaches. Randy Perrin. Are you out there, Randy? Can you unmute yourself? And how about Dan Wills? Can Dan Wills, he's a volunteer for the ABA, always goes above and beyond. Dan, can you unmute yourself? And how about, let's go with Corey Schwartz, director of the Edmonton Basketball Association, Adult Leagues and Youth Basketball Leagues. Can you 3 unmute yourself? And can we, Jeff, can we spotlight those folks so we can all be on the screen? Should I be ashamed or shouldn't I be? So, hi Dan, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Where are you right now?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Thanks a lot. I'm in my bedroom. Are you in Edmonton?
I am.
Okay. Can we get? Are the other folks there? Is Randy there? Is Corey there?
Yeah, right here.
Jeff, can you spotlight these guys? Oh, there's Corey. How you doing? All right. So here's the deal. We are going to do. We need 1 more. We need 3 assistants. I see 2. Can we find the other one? Not, we'll have to get somebody else. Randy, is Randy there? He's probably out golfing. No Randy Parent. All right. How about Nell Jackson? Are you out there, Nell? This is professional show business, folks. Patience is a virtue. This is COVID stuff. How about Armin Gottstein, coach of the SBA, all-around good guy? Are you out there, Armin? Well, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pick someone at random then. Who wants to help? Who wants to help? Raise your hand. Anybody? Houston, you want to help? You don't want to help? Anybody want to help? It's pretty easy. You know what your job is going to be? Your job is going to be to roll a pair of invisible dice. That's your job. Any helpers out there that want to help? I'm not a dentist. I'm not going to pull teeth.
Hello.
Hey, Hondo, I'm in. Mark Hogan.
Hey, Mark. Appreciate it. Are you a coach?
I am.
Are you up in Alberta?
I am. No golf here.
So can we get Mark on the screen? Oh, there I see him. How you doing, Mark? All right.
Good.
So, Mark, have you ever played any games of chance?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, you're about to.
Yeah.
There's a game that does anybody know the city in the United States where risk reward really comes into play and money changes hands a lot? Anybody know?
Vegas?
Las Vegas. So Mark, we're going to play a little game from Las Vegas. We're going to play 3 games with chance. And I'm going to see whoever the young person is yelling, can you mute your mic?
That wasn't me, Hondo.
I know, Mark. So maybe one of the administrators can discover it and mute that person. So Mark, I want you to pretend you have an invisible pair of dice. Fair enough?
Yes.
Shake them. Show me. All right. Roll them on the sofa right next to you. Okay. I want you to look at the tops of the 2 dice and in your imagination, add up the top 2 on the dice.
Okay.
What's the largest the number could be?
Largest could be a 12.
How about the smallest?
2.
So don't tell me yet. I'm going to go out on a limb here. This is called mentalism. I'm going to see if I can have my mind connect with your mind, and I'm going to attempt to write down right now, right here, what you just rolled. Could be a 1-digit number and it could be a 2-digit number. And I'll call this prediction number 1. And I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to clip it right there so it can't go anywhere. All right. Second assistant is going to be, let's go with Dan. All right, Dan. Dan, do you know a game with a wheel and marbles?
Yep, roulette. Yep.
It's called roulette. Oh, by the way, Mark, I'm committed. I've made my prediction, and so that you don't change your mind or forget, would you mind sharing with us what your total was on the dice?
You're right. I might forget. The total was 7.
That's what I thought. Okay, good. I love this profession. All right, Dan, your job is roulette. Go ahead, spin the wheel, please. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. You got 1 to 36. We're not going to do 00. No reds or blacks. 1 to 36. And it just stopped. I'm going to write down where I think it is. I want you to look at it.
Yep.
This could be a 1-digit number. This could be a 2-digit number. And I'm going to call this prediction number 2. And I'm going to wrap this one, put it right with this one. All right, and the third game for Corey is called Blackjack. That's where you try to get to 21 without going over. If you go, oh, by the way, Dan, I'm committed. I can't change my mind so that you don't change mine. Was yours, what was it, like 23?
No, 13.
13.
Yeah.
I was close.
You were.
I was thinking Michael Jordan. Okay, Corey, Blackjack, you're playing the game. I'm the dealer. And I've got a 9 up and a face down card. And you have, like, I don't know what you have, but you need to take a hit. So you say, I want 1 card. I give you 1 card. I want you to take a look at that card. I want you to take a look at that card and see what it is. And it has to have a suit, like a 4 of hearts or a 10 of diamonds. Put a suit to it. Can you do that for me? Don't tell me, though.
Okay.
Have you got it? Now, this is the toughest one, folks, because I only have 1 shot in 52. 1 shot in 52 on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my prediction right now, but I want you to look into the camera while you are visualizing your card, and I'm going to see through your eyes. You look like a nice guy, good coach. You know, I like hamburgers, and you know what I like to put on my burgers? Pickles. You have a nickname?
Not really.
Okay, I thought you did. Now I got distracted. I want you to think about your card again because I just forgot what I thought it was. Okay, now I got it. Thanks. And I got to get the suit. So you got to have a spades, hearts, diamonds, or clubs. And this is going to be prediction number 3. So this is the toughest one. Fold this up. Add it to these guys. Okay. Would it be amazing? Would it be amazing to you if I have accurately predicted your card?
Yep,
Now, you know what it is, right?
correct.
Don't say it, but would you be amazed if when I turn this over, I have your card?
Yes.
I think I got it there somewhere.
Yeah, I see
I
it
know
there.
that's kind of lame, but I will tell you this, I do have one more thing in my envelope. And it says the envelope. So I think that we might have some luck there. All right, let's see how we did on these guys. Number one was Mark, correct?
Yep.
That's a 2. That's a 3. And there's a 1. And Mark, you said that your dice came to 6, did you say?
I did not. I said 7.
Oh, that's good because that's what I had written down, a 7.
Beauty.
I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. All right, number 2, that was roulette and was 23. Was that correct?
No, 13.
Oh, good, because I subtracted 10 from the number and got 13. Cool. Now the third one, this is the tough one. Says check the envelope. Well, that's what we just did. And we have it right here. And so before I check this envelope, I'm going to go through my deck here and ask Corey if you see, don't say it, just tell me if you see your card in here. Have you seen it yet?
Hard to see.
You couldn't see it?
No.
What was it?
2 of spades.
Well, I'll get it for you. Recognize it?
Yep.
So now, I know this is kind of confusing, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the envelope and I'm going to see what it says. Remember now, we're talking about Las Vegas. Oh my gosh, this is someone I happen to know down there. He goes by the Mystery Man. And so I need to give him a call because there is there's a phone number and it says, call the Mystery Man. He's supposed to know what your card is. If I can find my, yeah, here we go. So check this out. I'm going to call him right now. So 702-456-0311. Call.
Sorry, Mr. Cole. Feel free to leave a message. Oh, about the card, it should be the 2 of spades.
So sometimes we need help. And that was the Mystery Man. He knew your card. You might wonder if I knew your card. Well, I had a feeling you were going to pick this one, and I'll tell you why. Because, Corey, you just picked the only card with your picture on it. That's the only card in the entire deck that has your picture on it, and none of the other ones do. So how about a hand for Corey? Yeah. So thank you for assisting me on that, guys. That's a fun one. Okay, let's see if we can. So remember I told you all to come prepared with 4 cards. We're going to do a team trick, a total team trick right now. Grab your 4 cards and these have to be cards you don't mind if they get destroyed or not, because that's going to happen. This is called Are You Coachable? I'm going to coach you through a little trick with 4 cards, and it has a process to it. So if you can grab your 4 cards, I think they sent out a note to everybody to have 4 cards. If you don't have them and want to run and grab them out of a deck, but the problem is you're going to ruin 4 cards. So use an old deck. All right. I'll wait a second while you're getting ready for that. By the way, Ken King said something very special earlier on. He said, make your own luck. And it reminded me of something that the great Bill Russell used to say. Bill Russell, who went up against Wilt Chamberlain for many, many years and had about a 7-inch height disadvantage, but performed very well against him. Bill Russell used to say, luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So you kind of have to be ready when you get your chance. Sometimes I have a story about how I screwed that up one time. Back in '92, I was a big fan of Johnny Carson from The Tonight Show. I grew up watching him every night. He inspired me to do what I'm doing right now. I wanted to be in front of people. So as a coach and a teacher, I was in front of my students, and now I'm in front of people. Well, I met McLean Stevenson at an event in Arkansas, a charity golf tournament, and he was watching my magic. He said, you should be on The Tonight Show. I said, yeah, you got any way to get me on? He goes, yeah, my wife books talent for Johnny Carson. Get her your stuff. So I come back home and I try to put a good promotional kit together. Back then, there were no DVDs. I did a VHS tape. Bottom line was I took too long putting it together. When I finally sent it out to them, they had already selected a magician from Pittsburgh. Instead, they said, your stuff looks great, but it got to us a little bit late. What's the moral to the story? Preparedness has to meet opportunity. I wasn't prepared. Had I been prepared, I could have sent it out right away, and maybe I'd have met my one of my heroes, Johnny Carson. But you live and you learn and you move on. Okay, you got your 4 cards? Okay, I see Houston has his 4 cards. Let's do it, folks. I'm going to go through this step by step. Here's what you do. You take your 4 cards. I have a jack, a queen, a 4, and a 7. You put them on top of each other like so, and we're going to fold them in half the long way, like this way. We're going to fold them in half and crease them. Now, you don't even have to have playing cards. You can do this with 4 pieces of paper, too. It doesn't really matter. You could draw your own cards. Now we're going to fold it back the other way, fold it back the other way. And this just makes it easier to do the next step. The next step is to pair them right down the middle, like so. So you should have 2 packs of cards. Put one on top of the other. I'm watching you. Put one on top of the other. Very good. And now we're going to do what we call in the world of cards, we're going to give them a cut. A cut means you take some of the cards, any amount, off of the top. Doesn't matter. Well, put them on the bottom. All right. That's called cutting the cards. So that sort of mixes them up a little bit. All right. Now, take the top 3 cards, top 3, and we're going to put them anywhere in the middle. Top 3 cards anywhere in the middle as a group. After you put the top 3 cards in the middle, you're going to have 1 card here. Don't look at it. Take it out, sit on it, or put it on the table. I'll put mine. I'll clip mine again right here. I'll use my clip. And I'll clip it to my basketball tie, like so. All right, now, you still have some cards in your hand. This is your selected card. All right. Now we're going to do this. We're going to take the top 2 cards, and we're going to put them in the middle, anywhere in the middle together. Now, here's where it gets fun. You're going to take 1, 2, or 3 off the top. It doesn't matter. 1, 2, or 3. Your choice. 1, 2, or 3. And you know where this gets fun? After you take 1, 2, or 3 off, I think I'm going to take 2. Toss them. Just don't hit your brother or sister. Okay? Next thing we're going to do after you toss those, we're going to put 3 cards on the bottom. Okay? Then we're going to put 2 cards off the top to the bottom. Now this is one more step. We're going to take 3 cards and put them on the bottom. Are you coachable? Are you coachable? Are you doing the process? All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the top card and toss it. We're going to take the next card and put it on the bottom. We're going to take the top card and toss it. We're going to take the next card and put it on the bottom. And we're going to do this till we have 1 card left. Top card, toss it. Next card on the bottom. Top card, toss it. And you should be left with 1 card. If you are left with 1 card, take that 1 card, take the other card that you were sitting on or that you set down next to yourself. And you know what happens if you do the process? If you do the process, that's when magic happens and things kind of match up. See if it worked for you. Did it work for you? Houston, did it work for you? Yeah, thumbs up, everybody. It worked? Good. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. So we're about done. I'm going to teach you a trick right now, a really cool one. It's very fast. And it uses a deck of cards, which I have right here. I've got all kinds of cards here, pardon me. Let's see, let me find them. It must be a different deck. Let's go with well, oh no, here it is. Here it is. Right, okay, check it out. I'm going to do it real quick and then I'll teach it to you. So you have your deck of cards and you say to somebody, I'm going to take the top 2 cards. I got a black 6 and a black 8. And I'm going to put one card here and I'm going to put 1 card down here. I put those 2 cards right in the middle of the deck. You know, in basketball, you got to have a good crossover, right? So let's see if we can do a good crossover with these cards. I put the 2 cards in the middle, and then we do this. 1, 2. Well, I forgot. Yeah. Ready? Watch. 1, 2. And wouldn't you know it, my camera failed me right when I did the flip. But look. You like it? Anybody know how it's done? Anybody got a deck of cards out there that wants to participate? All right, I'll just explain it to you then. This is one of those ones where what you see is not what was happening. And it has again to do with a very subtle thing of how people see and remember things. So for example, what I did is I said I have a black 6 and a black 8. What you don't know is, and what most people don't take note of, is which is the spade and which is the club. In this case, the 6 is the spade. So watch, I'll do it again. I put 1 here and I put 1 here. So the cards are actually going into the middle of the pack. Okay, I'll show them to you right there. Okay, 6 is the spade. Then when I do the toss, it goes like this. If I grip the top and bottom card and do a tossing motion, all the cards will go except for the top and the bottom. And guess what? Well, you'll see it in a second. You can fool your friends with that because they won't remember which was which. So what you do to do the trick is you have to get out two, and I always go same color, and I go, so in this case, I just went with a 6 and an 8. So you get a situation like this, and you put a 6 of clubs and an 8 of spades and an 8 of clubs and a 6 of spades. You put one of these on top, you put the other one on the bottom, and then you put these two on top. So to do the trick, you just come out there and you show these two cards. You show them fast. I say, I got a black 6 and a black 8. You put them into the deck like this, and they're going to say, voila, how do you just extract them? They come right out just like that. So that's one you can all do. If you can do a crossover dribble, you can do that one right there. Any questions? I'm happy to answer a question. If there is one, feel free to unmute yourself if you want to participate and ask me something. I'll be happy to answer it. I've met a lot of people. I've been to a lot of places. I've even been to Alberta. Paul had me come up years ago to perform in Alberta when they were putting the Go Center together, and I was on the docket with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem's contract said he was done at 10 p.m. and the dinner went late, and he only gave about a 10-minute talk, and he looked at his watch and he said, well, I guess my time is up. I hope he doesn't do that often, because you got to have a little flexibility with banquets. I can hear you if anybody wants to ask me something. I want to make sure someone's really out there. Well, it's a shy crowd. I guess that's Canada. Let's wrap it up then. You guys have been fun. I've enjoyed this. These are difficult times for everybody. I had both of my COVID shots, so I feel fortunate. I've been laying low for the last year. You know, I still work on my basketball skills. I take a basketball up against a wall and I do this. I do about 100 reps. I use a 3-pound basketball, but I do it at total arm's length, because the most important part of, this is just my opinion, the most important part of a shot is the very last part. It's the release. Just like it's the moment of truth. When you snap your wrist, that's the moment of truth. So it helps to be strong if you can be strong at your extended arm point, you're going to have better success. If you have to shoot from here, which young people have to, eventually as you get older and stronger, you get a higher release point, and the higher your release point, the more you can get your shot off. So you can strengthen your shooting on both hands by taking a basketball and bouncing it off a wall. Do about 100 reps with each hand. That's very easy to do. If you want to strengthen your legs for jumping, you can sit against the wall. You go up against the wall, you sit on it, and you just push your stomach in so the small of your back touches the wall. Go down till your knees are about like that, okay? Knee, hip, sit there for a couple minutes. You'll feel the burn in your quadriceps, and that's good. That's a good one. There's just a whole bunch of things you can do and have fun with it. Make a game out of it. Let's see. All right, let me wrap up. I wanted to tell you another Hondoism. Always appreciate and never forget the people that make a difference in your life. It could be a coach, it could be a teacher. I mentioned Billy Peterson, who was on this call, my favorite human being, 16 years old. He saved my life. He's the first person that had confidence in me. And you know something? As a coach, if you have confidence in a player and the player believes you, they'll get better because they'll start believing. Sometimes you have to instill confidence. Other people are born with it. I wasn't, but when you get it from somebody, once you've got it, then you've got it. Teachers, I had a math teacher named Paul Purley. I invited him here. I'm not sure he's on the call. He was my high school calculus teacher at Cretin High School, where I actually ended up teaching for 9 years. He knew that I was into magic. I just got started in high school. One day he comes up to me and he says, you know, I do a few things with a deck of cards. So he says, come to school after class. So he was showing me card tricks. And he said to me, how would you like to do a show for the class sometime? Well, I happened to be in the Brainiac class, the honors math class. And these were the smartest kids in the school. And this was an amazing class. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this. He said, you got to give it a shot. So I did, and it went over great. I was nervous, I was petrified, but it went over great. A couple weeks later, he says to me, "How would you like to teach the calculus class?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You know a little bit about this." So I said, "Okay," and I taught the class. I've done two things in my life, two and only two professionally. I was a high school teacher and a coach for 9 years, and I've been doing this ever since. Both of those 100% stemmed from what that teacher did for me by giving me those opportunities. So you never know who's going to give you an opportunity. And about 10 years ago, I was sitting in this very room. I had just watched the movie called Tuesdays with Maury. Check it out. It's a very inspirational movie. And it's about a professor who got ALS and he passed away. And he had a student who he had said to him, he says, "I'll hear from you again after you graduate." Well, that student was a writer named Mitch Albom, who ended up being a writer for the Detroit Press. And Mitch was out on assignment and he was watching Ted Koppel and he saw his former teacher, Maury Schwartz, on with Ted. And he realized that Maury was dying of ALS. And he it hit him in his mind. He remembered that the teacher said, "I'll see you again, I'll see you again," but he never had. So Mitch called his wife up and told her that story. And she said, "Honey, you got to get back here and you got to go see Maury, no matter what your assignments are." So he did. He went and he knocked on the door, and it happened to be a Tuesday. He knocked on the door and the professor opened the door and he said, "How you doing, Mitch? I knew I'd see you again." They went in and they sat down, talked for an hour or two. And as they said their goodbyes, Maury said to Mitch, "How about next Tuesday?" And Mitch says, I got stuff to do. I got some sketch. How about next Tuesday, same time? "I'll see you next Tuesday, same time." He came back the next Tuesday. He visited with his professor for every Tuesday for the rest of his life, hence the name of the book. So I'm thinking about my teacher, Paul Purley, and I didn't know where he was. So I went on a search engine called whitepages.com or something like that, and you had to go by state. So I'm trying every state in the country. Finally, I hit Vermont, and I got a positive hit. I pick up the phone, and I call this number, and I'm petrified. I'm nervous. He answers, and I said, "Is this Paul Purley?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Is this the Paul Purley that used to teach math at Cretin High School?" He goes, "Well, yes, it is." I said, "Wow." I said, "This is one of your former students." And he immediately calls out my name just like that. And I said, "Whoa, how did you know?" He said, "I recognized your voice." Well, we had a nice conversation. And I probably teared up a little bit, but I wanted to tell him that he really made a difference in my life. And you're lucky if you've got one or two or three people that really make a difference in your life. And if that happens, remember it and let them know. That's what you want to do. Former teachers, as a former teacher, when I run into former students and they tell me things about my class that they really liked, that makes your day. So thank you for letting me tell that story. And I just think that no matter how old we get, life is short at any age. So I've been very lucky to be able to make it through life doing child's play with magic. This is something I love to do. I like to customize all my magic. So this is called From My Home to Yours. And that basketball is right about where I am right now. So this is the sports page. Hang in there, you guys. No matter what your age is, keep working on your fundamentals and your skills. Keep trying hard and don't let anybody take your dream away from you. When I got cut my sophomore year, I had a choice. I was either going to quit or I was going to keep playing. I went and told my dad about it. He says, "You might want to find something else to do." He says, my dad said, "You might want to find something else to do." I said, "No, Dad, I love basketball too much. I can't quit." If you have passion for something, you won't quit it. Trust me. You'll know when it's time to quit if that's really what it is. But check this newspaper out. Someone's dunking the ball there. Oh, yeah. Antetokounmpo. I can pronounce his name. Let's go through the paper. Da-da-da-da-da. Love this trick. This is the illusion of the torn and restored newspaper. The reason it's called an illusion is not really happening. I hate to do this. I know what you're gonna say. Hondo's ripping his country apart. Apologize, folks, for the camera. I really do. I do not know what's happening. That never has happened. Huh. Looks like I'm ripping it, doesn't it? Sort of looks like separate pieces here, doesn't it? But what is teamwork? Teamwork is getting all the pieces of the puzzle together. And that's what coaches do. Coaches bring all the pieces of the puzzle together, just like so. Snap those guys up just like that. And so, folks, from my home to yours, the amazing Hondo, thanks for watching. 1, 2, 3. God, I don't know what that thing is doing. Better go back to this camera here. There is Alberta, ABA right there. So thanks a lot, folks. I apologize for that camera up there. I will troubleshoot that. So if we ever do this again, you won't see that glitch. We learn from our mistakes. We keep trucking, okay? So hondomagic.com is the website. My social handle is @hondomagic. I'll be following you guys, and good luck down the way. And I want to thank Paul Sir for bringing me on. I think I went pretty long here. My bad on that, but thank you. You can hit me up on social sites if you'd like.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Hondo. That's the amazing Hondo. Thanks so much. As you can see, he has some incredible skills. I want to thank, of course, Jacob, Maya Marie, Ken, and Shawnee, along with the amazing Hondo, for joining us tonight. Thank you all for your time. I hope this adds some hope. I hope you had some fun. Looks like things could start loosening up, but we can't take our eye off the ball. We have to all work together. Again, my appreciation from the entire staff at the Alberta Basketball Association for you joining us tonight. It's great to see a lot of folks from Alberta. It's great to see some old friends that I haven't seen for many decades from down in the States. That's you, Donnie. It's good to see you, man. And saw a lot of others. But everybody, thank you for being here tonight. And take care, and we'll hopefully see you on the court soon.
Paul, question. Can you hear me, Paul?
I can, John.
Can you keep the page open in case anybody wants to talk a little bit later, or do you have to shut it off?